Hi there, welcome to today's Clivia chat here at Clivia's for Africa. My name is Marnie. Today we're going to have a look at how you clean and prepare your Clivia plants for the Clivia show. Let's get into it. The first thing before you start working on your Clivia, very important, you need to choose a plant that do not have any active diseases. So make sure that it's not a sick plant and that it's not going to carry over any diseases at the show to other breeders' plants. If you do take a plant that's sick, it's going to be disqualified. Okay, what do you need to prepare your plant? The first thing is I've got a bucket here full of water. I've got a bit of antibacterial dishwashing soap. I've got a small spray bottle here with also antibacterial dishwashing soap. This one is mixed a bit more concentrated. I'll show you later what I do with it. I've got a bit of cinnamon here, a pair of scissors, tweezers, small little brush and an earbud, and then I've got a thin small cloth and just a bigger one to dry things up. And there's one more thing, a flower stake. I'll go and get it just now to keep the flowers straightened up. And then I've got this air duster. I'll show you what we're going to do with that a bit later on. And I think that's obviously your plant, most important. And then second most important is your coffee. Okay, so the first thing that I normally start with, which I'm not going to show you right now because it's just practically a bit more difficult here on the table, is before I even start working on my plant, I put it somewhere, sorry, on the grass, and I just take the hose with a fine spray, and I open the tap that it's quite strong, but not too strong to hurt the plant, and I just spray the leaves, and in between the leaves, just to get most of the dirt and the dust off the leaves. So that's the first step. Second step is I take this bucket with just water in, and I put just a few drops. I hope I can show you here. A few drops of this liquid sunlight dishwashing liquid. Take the cloth and just mix it up a little bit, and there we go. Okay, it's just to get rid of that extra bit of stubborn dirt on the leaves. Okay, the first thing that I do is I just take my hand with a cloth like this, and the other hand I put on the other side of the leaf. I hope I can show you clearly here, and I'm starting below, so I'll just take the cloth up like this, and I'll start as low as I can get in with my other hand on the other side to support the leaf, and just go through like that. I then change it over to the other side, and I do the next leaf, and I just make sure that the leaves are nice and clean, and I do that with each and every leaf. Okay, so that's the first step. Second step with the leaves is I take the tweezer, and sometimes between the leaves, in between there's a little bit of dirt just stuck in there. I can see a small piece of leaf here. Don't know if you can see it, but maybe behind my hand there's a small little leaf that was stuck there between the leaves. There's another one here. That's a bit of a tough one. There we go. So yeah, so that's the next thing that I do. So I take just the visible big pieces of stuff between the leaves out. The next thing, I take the small brush, put it in the water, and then I basically just go there right at the bottom between the leaves where you can't get in with a cloth, and I'll just clean with a brush. I just rinse it every now and then to just make sure. You can open the leaves very slightly, so I just clean in between the leaves right at the bottom here just make sure I get most of the dirt out there, and I just go through all the leaves doing that. You can also use an earbud. Some people do use an earbud. I just find a small brush better, because the earbud sometimes is a bit too broad and too big to really get in there between the leaves. Be very careful when you go in there, especially at the bottom between the leaves, that you don't force them open too much, because you might get your plant's leaves to hang more down than you want to, and it can actually change the nice appearance of your Clivia plant. The next thing is, if there is a leaf that have a dead end, I'm looking at these leaves, and there's a small piece here on this leaf, but it's actually too small to cut off. Sometimes on the leaf you have this dead portion on the end, so I just take the scissors and I look at the rest of the leaves, and more or less the same shape, I'll just cut that dead portion off and make sure the leaf have a similar look to it. I then take this water with a little bit more antibacterial dishwashing soap. So if I do cut on any leaves, I just take this and I will just spray the area where I've cut. It's really just to sort of seal the wound and make sure that there's no infection going into the leaf, and then I'll just wipe it off softly. The other thing you can do is take a bit of cinnamon, and you just sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in your hands, and there where you've made the cut on the end of the leaf, you just rub that, call it the open wound portion, if I can call it that, into the cinnamon. Don't know if you can see the brown edges here. So the cinnamon is also a natural fungicide, and it will just seal the wound and make sure that you don't get any stuff in there. Hey Joey, yeah. Sorry, that's my dog at the gate here. So and then a tip from Tanya Lee Stroomfer is, when you've made any cuts to a leaf, what she does is she takes a little bit of Savlon and she just lightly wipe it here on the edge of the leaf where you've made the cut. That also seal the wound. So I think that's enough info on the wounds. I'm just taking this. Once I've put the cinnamon on, I just leave it there for a few minutes, and I just take a cloth and then just remove the, call it the cinnamon dust, just for the leaf to look nice. Another thing which this plant don't really have is that sometimes you have these leaves hanging very low. Sometimes even, one of them would have probably lying here on the table. If there's leaves that hang too low, you can just remove them, cleanly. Make sure that there's no pieces of the leaf still here at the base of the plant. Just make sure that it looks nice. Do not remove too many leaves. I've got 1 or 2 leaves here that are not ideal in terms of their shape. They're hanging a bit, more down to my liking, but I'm not going to remove them. If you remove too many leaves, you can easily get this white base here at the bottom of the Clivia that looks like an onion, and you don't want that. I mean, that's aesthetically not very pleasing. So if you do remove a leaf or two that's really hanging too low and you do get that white base, if you put some pine bark into your pot, which I'll talk about later, you can put it a bit higher and it can actually cover that white portion, so it doesn't stand out as much. Last thing on the leaves is that you are not allowed to put any oil or any material on here to make it abnormally shiny, the leaves. That will also be disqualified. So you can clean the leaf, but do not put on any oil or anything to make it shine more than what it's supposed to. Okay, next we're going to move over to the flower itself. I want to make sure that the flower is looking nice and neat. I think I'm just going to start with, sometimes at the bottom here where the flowers grow out of the stem, you have these small pieces of skin that was covering the flower buds when they were still closed. If it looks nice and neat, you can leave them there, but sometimes you have one of these skins. I'm just going to show you an example here, like this one. I hope you can see here behind the light, that stands out in a direction where it's just, you know, it doesn't look good. So I will then just take this little skin and I will just, you know, you just pull it to a side and it normally comes off easily. If it struggles to come off, you can take the scissors and you can just remove that, and I just throw that away. So that's the first thing, just to make sure that that the leaf is nice and clean there. The next thing is, you know, you can take something like this. It's called an air duster. It just really blows air, you know, out when you press it. Now, sometimes there's small pieces of dirt, you know, when the wind was blowing, there's some pieces of dirt in the flower. I just find if I, you know, just check in, and wherever I see a little bit of dust or something, it just for me works very well to get that out. You can also take the tweezers. If there's something big lying there, you know, like a little leaf or something, you can just remove that with the tweezers. That also works well. I think the other thing is, there we go, I've got the flower stake in the meantime. So this flower stands up pretty nice and straight. We've got some vehicles moving past here, so I hope you can hear me. If you do have a flower that's hanging totally skew, or where the flower stem is you know, bending a lot, you know, the best thing would be to take a flower stake. You know, you just press it into the pot, and you can just use that to make sure that the flowers stand up nice and straight and that it's supported. Time for a sip of coffee. Fantastic. Okay, then we're moving lower down to the pot area of the plant. Any tags, name tags, you know, have to be removed. So you can see I've always got a lot of tags showing what the background and the breeding of the plant is, and the name of the plant, and what I'm pollinating it with. So that have to be removed. No name tags allowed. No writing on the pots are allowed. And then, you know, preferably you want a pot that's pretty clean. If it's a very old pot, you know, and you can't clean it, then maybe it's a good idea to just repot your plant into a newer pot and a more clean pot. If it's a pot that you can clean, I just use the same water and dishwashing soap mix, and I'll just basically, you know, I'll just wipe all the dust and the dirt off the pot. You know, on the inside, you can just take the end and, you know, just move it around. You see there's quite a bit of dirt on the edge inside that you can remove, you know, and just make sure that the pot look nice and clean. Something I forgot earlier is at the base of the plant, you know, same thing. You can just use this cloth and, you know, just maybe at the base, just clean it there. I saw that it was a bit dirty. Okay, so that's, you know, just cleaning the pot. And then inside on the medium, I don't have in stock here at this stage, so I can't show you, but pine bark, big pieces of pine bark works very well. You know, you just put that on top of your medium, sort of up to the top level of the pot, and this just makes the plant and the pot looks very neat. So that's a nice finish off in terms of your medium and your pot. And the other thing is that you know, plastic pots is what your plants should be in. You're not allowed, for example, to show a plant in, let's say, a black plastic bag, which I've never think that somebody have done before, but anyway, it's worth mentioning that that will, you know, will also not be allowed. And then the last thing I just want to talk about is travel to the show venue. It doesn't help that you do all this preparation on your plant and you travel there and your plant gets hurt or damaged on the way to the show venue. So very important, make sure that your plant is, wherever you put it in your vehicle, is supported well, it's standing straight up, and that there's no chance that the plant can fall over when you're driving and traveling, and also that your leaves are not damaged, you know, during traveling. What I normally do is I'll try and move one of the seats, the passenger seats, a little bit to the front and see if I can fit my plants in behind, on the back side behind the seats. They seem to stand nice and tight there, and they can't fall over either side. If you have to put them in the back of a vehicle, you know, you can take a tray or, you know, something like that where you can put them next to each other into, that will also give them a little bit of extra support, and just make sure your plants get to the show in a good condition. I've run through the cleaning pretty quickly to try and make the video not too long. I hope I've covered everything. If I forgot something, or if you have any other tips that I didn't mention here, please put it in the comments below of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy preparing your plants for the next show. Please remember to share this video to your friends, and if you're part of a Clivia club, share it on your Facebook page or your WhatsApp groups. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for Clivias for Africa, and click on the notification bell so that you are informed every time that I post a new video on YouTube. Until next time, bye-bye.